What has happened to Christians in Iraq since the U.S. troops pulled out? How is America viewed in the Middle East these days? Will Israel attack Iraq before the November elections? These are just a few of the questions that we put to Mr. IQ Rassooli. Mr. Rassooli is a native Iraqi now living in the UK and author of the 3-volume work entitled Lifting the Veil, The True Faces of Muhammad and Islam. And these are transcriptions of 312 audio videos on YouTube with the series Idiot's Guide to Islam. These are available, by the way, online at authorhouse.com and amazon.com. The interview began with a brief overview of Mr. Rassooli's background.
I come from Iraq. I was born in Iraq. My mother tongue is Arabic. I studied in Europe, and during my studies, I became interested in the Quran, the Bible, the Hebrew Bible, and the Christian New Testament, because I was trying to compare what the Quran says with the original scriptures. And I found out that what the Quran says and what the Bible says are completely different. And of course, I spent almost 30 years of my life, not all day and all night, but over a period of time, researching these subjects. And I've come to conclusions which are extremely controversial. So I wanted to have my book printed in the year 2000. No company in Europe would do it because they said it's too outrageous. So I was able to put it on the web called In the Name of Allah, www.inthenameofallah.org. And then I was able to find a publishing company in the United States, Author House. They published all 3 volumes of my trilogy called Lifting the Veil, The True Faces of Muhammad and Islam. And I have had 310 produced on YouTube, 310 audio videos. I've had so far 350 radio interviews with American radio stations, talk hosts like you. 350 so far. In Europe, I couldn't even have one of them. They're too politically correct. My mission is simple. I want to enlighten and educate people about the facts of Muhammad and his Quran. Because most people believe or think that Islam is a religion. Islam is not a religion. Islam is a cult belief system. Allah is most definitely not the same as the God of Jesus, Moses, and Abraham. I prove these in my chapters. In the name of Allah, there are 780 chapters. You know, they cover everything that somebody can ask about Islam. This is not a boast, by the way. I also have over $1 million worth of challenges to every human being on the planet to disprove anything I say. I've had that for 4 years. Not a dime has been taken.
IQ, from my understanding then, since you have rejected Islam, what faith have you embraced?
I don't have to tell anybody what my state. I'll tell you why. If I say I converted to Christianity, the Mohammedan Muslims will pick on this as I'm an evangelical Christian. If I say I'm a Jew, the same thing, I'm a Zionist. If I'm a Hindu, I will give them no item to hold on to. Do I believe in God? Yes, I believe in God. Beyond that point, nobody has the right to ask me anything. My mission is to enlighten people.
As you know, America has spent a massive amount of money and thousands of lives to help the country of Iraq become a democracy. Now, Iraq has had a very small Christian population. Since the U.S. troops have pulled out of Iraq, what has happened to the Christian community there?
First of all, you cannot ever have democracy in a Muslim country. It is impossible. Proof? Very simple. There are 57 Muslim majority states on the world scene today, and they have been there for 60 years. Not one of them is a democracy. Why? Because Sharia, which is the basis of Islam, is anti-democratic. Sharia believes in the law of Allah. That is the Quran and Muhammad's Sunnah. Muhammad's Sunnah means Muhammad's tradition. How he lived, whom he hated, whom he loved, how he massacred people, how he raped people. That's Sunnah. So the pillars of Sharia are Muhammad's Quran and Muhammad's Sunnah. Both of them reject any human being who is not a Muslim. Both of them reject any constitution which is not based on the Quran and Muhammad's Sunnah. So it is impossible, theologically, to become a democracy. And the facts are there. The trouble is with America and the Americans and the Western Europeans. They think in terms of Judeo-Christian terms. You can't do that. The Muslims are not Judeo-Christians. They are followers of Muhammad. You must think the way they think and then understand them. To destroy one's enemy, you've got to be their psychological profiler. Otherwise, you can't do it. What did America do? They did a fantastic job in 1991 when they went into Iraq. But what huge mistake they made. Brenner dismissed 400,000 soldiers of the Iraqi army. The remarkable thing of the stupidity of what he had done is this. After World War II, MacArthur did not dismiss the Japanese Imperial Army. And the Allies did not dismiss the Wehrmacht of Germany. They kept a corps to keep the peace, to keep law and order. The moment 400,000 soldiers became without a job, they were not earning anything, they turned to terrorism. This is not simplistic, this is a fact of life. Had America paid these soldiers a few dollars, by the way, at that time, a few dollars was a huge amount of money. America today would have resolved the problem in Iraq completely. It would have had a democracy. Now it cannot possibly have a democracy. Iraq is split now into three major parts. In the northeast, it's Kurds. They are not Arabs. They're completely different nationality, a different culture, and a different way of life. In the east and the south, the Shia Muslims belong now to Iran. And in the middle and the west is the Sunni Muslims. The Christians of Iraq, by the way, are one of the oldest continuous Christian community in the Middle East. In 2003, we had 1.25 million Christians. They are indigenous people. Today, as we speak, there are less than 200,000. Why? Because the Muslims, they discriminate against any Jews, Christians, Buddhists, and Hindus. They discriminate against anybody who is not a Muslim. Are you with me so far?
Yes, go ahead.
Because it is so immense what I'm talking about. It is beyond the comprehension of Western mind. The Western mind accepts peace, accepts reciprocity, accepts if I shake hands with you, it means something. You cannot shake hands or sign a treaty with a Muslim and he will keep it. For as long as you are an infidel, for as long as you are a Muslim, he doesn't have to keep anything. Muhammad broke every single treaty he made. That was 1400 years ago. Muslims break every single treaty. Look at Egypt. They had a contract or a peace, so-called peace agreement with Israel. Now they want to negate it. Why? Because the Muslim Brotherhood took over the state. Who allowed the Muslim Brotherhood? Obama. Obama single-handedly changed the whole political system of North Africa and the Middle East to the detriment of the United States of America and Western Europe. It just doesn't make sense. So the Christians are being persecuted in every Muslim country. Now, because of this stupid video that the Muslims use as an excuse to massacre other people, they want actually to exterminate the Christians of Egypt. For those who are listening, the Christians of Egypt are the actual descendants of the pharaohs. And the ones who are trying to destroy them are Arabs who conquered Egypt. They are not natives of the nation. The media will never tell you these things. The media will never tell you the truth. I was in the United States for 9 years. I lived in the United States for 9 years. I should know. The Western media, the left-wing Western media will never, ever tell the American people the truth.
So then you're saying that the Christian community in the Middle East is in a very insecure, unsafe position.
Unsafe is not even the word. They are going to be exterminated. If not exterminated, they are going to be hounded out of their countries. This is not a joke. This is a fact. It's a fact. It is there. It's available. Anybody who wants to investigate this, it's on YouTube. Anybody who wants to investigate it, check it with the American government. As I said, there were 1.25 million Christians. There are less than 200,000. This is unbelievable, but it's happening all the time. They're persecuting the Christians in Sudan, in Somalia, in Nigeria, in Malaysia, Indonesia, in Pakistan. I mean, you can name 57 Muslim states and they're persecuting them. And what's happening? The Western Christians are not saying anything. Nobody is saying anything. Obama is not saying anything. Hillary Clinton is not. In fact, Obama and Hillary Clinton are apologizing. Why are they apologizing? To whom are they apologizing? Islam is the most racist cult belief system that has ever existed on the face of the earth. Anybody who wants to argue with me or discuss it with me or try to disprove me, please do so. I'll be more than happy to answer you. I can prove my points in less than 10 minutes, based entirely on the Quranic verses. In less than 10 minutes.
We are speaking with Mr. IQ Rassooli. IQ, let me just ask this. Since you are not an American and you live outside of America, how is America now being perceived in the Middle East?
As a piece of garbage. And I'm not being nasty. You see, people respect the powerful. They don't have to love them. All they need to do is respect them. Obama gave up all this respect. Obama apologized for American dominance. Why? Why did he apologize? To whom did he apologize? Most of the nations of the United Nations are despotic nations. Why should America apologize to anybody? America is the greatest democracy that has ever been conceived. And I'm a foreigner. And I believe that the American Constitution is one of the best documents ever conceived by the human mind.
Within the American press, a distinction has been made between Islam and radical Islamists. Is this a correct distinction?
Absolutely not true. There is no, let me put it mildly, there is no shades in Islam. A believing Muslim, whether he is in the United States in America, he lives in America, or he lives in Europe, or India, or Israel, or China, cannot possibly have any loyalty to the constitution of these countries. Why? Because they're not Islamic. He cannot even be loyal to the people of the United States of America or to Europe. Why? Because they're not Muslim. Look what's happening in Europe. Many cities in Europe, and Europe is mostly a Christian landmass. Many cities, Europeans, French, German, Norwegian, they cannot go into their cities in certain areas because it's run by the Muslims. It's under Sharia. It's obscene. What is happening is obscene. The trouble is that most people are not doing anything. I mean, the American people, they should be outraged. The Muslims say their prophet was insulted. Really? He wasn't insulted. The movie that they're talking about was telling the facts, by the way. I watched it, 74 minutes long. It is a garbage movie. Absolute garbage. A 9-year-old could have done a better job. But the contents are correct. What was Muhammad? A mass murderer, a child molester and rapist, a serial murderer, a thief, and the head of an organized crime syndicate. Who proves it? Their own scripture proves it. I know it sounds outrageous. I know it sounds unbelievable. But all I ask to people is, Google my name, Al-Rassooli, Alrassooli, and try to prove me wrong. That's all. It's very simple. If I am boasting, if I'm a hot air balloon, pinprick it, bring it crashing down to the ground. It cannot be done, sir. It cannot be done. I didn't spend 30 years of my life researching and coming to these conclusions to have any human being go against me and win. It cannot be done. Why? Because I base it on their own scripture in Arabic, my mother tongue.
IQ, how do you evaluate the recent violence against the U.S. embassies around the world, and what can we expect in the future? You
expect the same in the future. Why? Because America has not done anything to against them. By the way, attacking an American embassy is an act of war. How come nobody's doing anything? It's an act of war. This is inviolate territory. And who's not protecting it? The very states that America has been helping with billions and billions of dollars are the ones who are allowing those murderers to do it. And Obama is against Israel. The only ally that Israel has between the Atlantic and the Indian Ocean, he's against them. There is no sense anymore. There is no logic anymore. There is no justice. There is no morality. Everything is upside down.
Is any of this activity tied to the upcoming presidential elections in America, or is this just coincidental?
No, not coincidental. What they did was to remind America on 9/11 that Al-Qaeda is alive. Panetta, your Minister of Defense, or whatever he is, and Obama were saying that Al-Qaeda is nearly finished. Al-Qaeda cannot be finished. I'll tell you why. Every Muhammadan believing Muslim is Al-Qaeda. It's not outrageous. It's a fact. Just because somebody is not strapping bombs on their body and blowing everybody else up doesn't make him a decent and law-abiding citizen. It's just a matter of choice. They go to the mosque. What do they learn in the mosque? Every Friday, in every mosque, in every country on earth. What do they hear from the Imam? How to hate anybody who is not a Muslim. Don't take my word for it. Challenge me.
Is this type of teaching spread throughout what is happening in the mosques in America as well?
In every mosque. It's irrespective of any mosque. They have no choice. With all due respect, John, listen. In a church, what do they read? They read from the New Testament or the Old Testament. True or not?
True.
Okay. So the congregation learns from these books. What do the Muslims learn in the mosque? From the Quran. What does the Quran say? I mean, what does the Quran give them? Hate, hate, hate. Okay. It is very difficult for people to believe me. May I recite a few verses for you?
Yes, please.
Okay. I'm going to recite in name, chapter, and verse. Al-Ma'idah is the name of the chapter. Chapter 5, verse 51. It says, O ye who believe, Muslims, take not the Jews, in Arabic, Yahud, and the Christians, Nasara, for your friends and protectors. They are but friends and protectors to each other, and he amongst you that turns to them for friendship is of them. Do you know what that means? Any Muslim in America, in Europe, who becomes friends with Christians and Jews becomes an apostate. This translation from Arabic to English was not done by a Christian or a Jew or a Zionist. It was done by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. Next verse, Al-Imran 3.85. If anyone desires a religion other than Islam, submission to Allah, never will it be accepted of him. I mean, it's clear. There's no ambiguity in any of this. Another one, Al-Tawbah 9.33. It is He, Allah, who has sent His Apostle Muhammad with guidance and the religion of truth, Islam, to proclaim it over all other religions. By the way, these verses remind me of Hitler's Mein Kampf, the Nazi master race creed, exactly the same. I mean, these are what they are learning in the mosque. So what are they supposed to do? You tell me. If these are the instructions from Allah, their God, what are they supposed to do? Nobody is born evil. Muslims are not born evil. They are indoctrinated to be evil. They have no choice. All I ask from people who don't believe me, Google my name, check me out. You can email me. It's very simple. I get thousands of emails. Most of them supporting me. A few of them want me dead.
What do you think in the near future will happen in and to America regarding its relationships with the Middle East?
America in the Middle East is finished. It's finished completely. There's nothing. What are they going to do? They're going to take. They have to leave Afghanistan. The relationship with Egypt is gone. The relationship with Libya is in shreds. So the only people who have any relationship with America at the moment are Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Qatar, and Israel.
Do you think Israel will initiate a preemptive strike against Iran before the November elections here in America?
My belief, my understanding, if they think Obama is going to win, they will unleash the war. Yes, they have no choice. Because Obama supports Islam. Every single leader in Iran, publicly and in the United Nations, said he wants to exterminate the state of Israel. And nobody said anything. Nobody said anything. What do you expect the Israelis to do? 60, 70 years ago, Hitler said he would do the same thing to the Jews, to the Catholics, and to the communists. Nobody believed him. What did he do? He did exactly what he said he would do. If people don't learn from history, they are doomed to repeat it. I don't think the Israelis want to repeat it. They're not going to take any risks. Obama is not their supporter. Obama has proven himself to be a coward.
Could you finally, once again, give us the information where people can find...
It's very simple. Just Google my name, Al-Rassooli, A-L-R-A-S-S-O-O-L-I. And believe me, you have a lot of information there.
You've been listening to a recorded interview with Mr. IQ Rassooli, a native Iraqi now living in the UK, and author of the 3-volume work entitled Lifting the Veil, The True Faces of Muhammad and Islam. These are transcriptions of 312 audio videos that you can find on the YouTube series Idiot's Guide to Islam. They're also available at authorhouse.com and amazon.com as well. Now his website is Al-Rassooli, that's spelled A-L-R-A-S-S-O-O-L-I, alrassooli.com, and he blogs at alrassoolilive.blogspot.com.